And we're live. And I've got a great guest today, but welcome to Games Talk Live. Of course, you can find this show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any podcast streaming, thing out there, any app. But we're here live every Sunday on YouTube. And again, got a great guest with me today, Ericutz4thewin. It's finally great to have you. I know we've been talking behind the scenes and saying, we got to get you on the show. I got to get you on this show. And you're like asking me to go on the backlog too at some point, and that'll get done too as well. Yeah. But today you are on Games Talk Live. Welcome. I'm happy to have you.
I'm excited to be here. You're genuinely like one of the shows I watch, and I'm like,
really?
I want to be on that. It's one of those I think about, like, I want to be on there because you got like such a cool setup. You got the 80s vibe. I'm an 80s baby, so it appeals to me. Nice. But yeah, I love what you got going on over here, and it's a good show. So I'm happy to be here. Very happy.
So you said you're an 80s baby. When did you start gaming exactly? What era? Like what generation of consoles did you start?
It was with the NES. The NES. Nice. Thanks to my uncle. He introduced me to pretty much all the consoles he got his hands on. He was able to share with me and share those experiences, and I owe a lot to him. He was like 5 years older than me, so nice. He was kind of like the older brother that I didn't have, and would introduce me to gaming, and yeah, so I started with the NES with like Mario, of course, games like Kid Icarus, Metroid. I never beat them, I was too young. I was like 5 or something at the time,
but
or
you were
6.
playing them, yeah.
But I was playing them, yeah, and so I was kind of a Nintendo kid growing up.
Nice.
Thanks to that, yeah.
That might bode well for you in the trivia coming up.
Ooh, okay.
We got to do the trivia.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so you've been gaming since the NES, but YouTube. Now, what got you into YouTube here?
Oh, gosh. Well, it kind of started off as like just me recording clips. Like I wanted to record clips for my cousins because we would play Call of Duty and Gears, and something funny would happen, and then I would record it, upload it, and just share it with them. That was kind of as far as it went. And then I think the more time I spent with YouTube and watching videos, I started to see how far it could go. And I was watching guys like Gold Glove and guys that were playing Gears and like recording whole matches. So hearing the game chat, the party chats and stuff, and all the excitement, the saltiness, like I just loved that multiplayer like experience. So that motivated me to want to do the same thing. So
who were some of the guys and gals that you've seen first on YouTube that made you want to do that?
Like I said,
you looked at him and said, I want to do that. I want to be what he is or she is doing right now. Like
there's a few, like I said, Gold Glove was one of them.
Gold Glove.
There was another YouTuber by the name of King Zappa, who was kind of doing like the Gears thing, the full matches. And then ladies like Miss 5000 Watts, she was doing the Call of Duty gameplay with like the commentary over it. And I started seeing that, and like when women were doing it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is the thing, and they're giving life stories and they're just talking about the game. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to share, with gaming. I just love the passion for it, and I have the passion. So I would say those 3. There's been more along the way, but those are who I remember at first.
And what console was that you started with when you went to YouTube?
The 360.
360.
Yeah.
Because you're a big Gears head, right?
Yeah. It was Gears.
It's Gears
a lot of
for
Gears.
you. So if you don't know Erica here, she is a big time Gears fan, and she could probably light you up in multiplayer for sure in Gears. I know she could probably be me for sure.
Yeah, I do all right.
Yeah, I've watched some of your streams. You also do Twitch. When did you start Twitch?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember, honestly. Maybe
it's been a couple of years. Yeah,
2015, 2016.
Wow,
like I started.
Long. I thought it was just a few years
I mean,
ago.
It was so casual though. I'm talking like a few streams those years, like not a lot. I didn't really get into it more until like I think 2018. Around there, and then I got affiliate status, and then I was able to have my community features, and then I started building it.
That's probably what it is. That's what I remember. That's why I thought you started around then, is because you were really pushing it at that point.
Yeah.
And I even joined your channel at one time back then.
Awesome.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you've gotten into YouTube, Twitch, and now you're doing your podcast thing. I know you've done podcasts out there. You've been with, Press Start and stuff, but now you're doing your own thing with the backlog.
Yeah.
With Shar. How did you end up meeting Shar and deciding, hey, this is the podcast I want to do with you? And you guys, when did you start this? How did it come about? Because I listened to it and I got to say, I really like the chemistry between you two. Really good stuff. And I love that you, you guys try to keep it gaming anyway. Shar kind of sometimes goes off the rails, but hey, it's fun. It's funny. It works. I like the dynamic. How did it start?
Shar is awesome. I do hear that compliment a lot, that we have chemistry, and I feel it. We're great together. We met at sheattack.com. If anyone doesn't know about that site, we wrote for that site. It's a gaming site.
Oh, really?
All women, and all of us would write, and we actually got opportunities. I actually got to go to E3 because of that site in 2015. So nice. I have a little history with like writing, editing, talking to PR. Like that's how I kind of learned how to be professional and how to like make other kinds of content too. So that's just a little side note. But we did meet there, and we actually did like small shows together, like groups of us or a couple of us together. And Shar and I really clicked because of our sense of humor. I just remember we would laugh at the same things, and we just gelled really good together. So that site actually, unfortunately, went down. It's not around anymore. And shout out to the video game Her, if you've ever heard of her. Nia, shout out to Nia. She's the one who created this site and gave me the opportunity. So I owe her for being able to meet these great girls. But
I do remember She Attack. I remember that site. Yeah. Is it still around?
No, it's not no more.
But I remember the site. I definitely remember the name. I didn't know you wrote for them though. That's great.
I was there. Yeah, I was there. And so it went down, right? And me and Shar kept up a friendship. We played games together, streamed together, stuff like that. And we ended up taking a show that we started there, which we called The Loading Screen, which was just us two, moved it over to my channel, and we kept it going. But it was so inconsistent. I want to say we were doing that like every couple months, every other month kind of thing. And then at some point, I want to say in like 2018, which again, that year, I feel like that year is when I really started kind of going harder. We had a chat and I was like, let's get back on this. Let's rebrand. Let's get this going. And so Shar came up with the name, The Backlog, and it's just been kind of history.
It's a great name.
Then. Yeah. I mean, we always have backlogs, and you know what? It kind of worked out really well because we do go off the rails. Like you said, we do kind of go off the rails a little bit. So we think of it as like the backlog of topics that other shows don't get to. So we kind of go to these topics that we don't hear a lot. And I think that's why I love it so much.
Clever. Yeah. I don't want to embarrass you here, but Gaz, the always embarrassing Gaz, with a $5 says, that sweet, sexy voice like caramel sliding down my gullet, caressing my cochlear and massaging my brain at the same time. My sweet Fonz. I don't know what to say to that, Gaz. Thank you, buddy, for that always weird comment,
That's he had me in the first part and he took it somewhere else. He's talking about you.
It did. Yeah, both of us. Yeah. Odd, but
shout out to Gaz. He's great. He's great.
Yeah, no, I love Gaz. Gaz is a good friend. I was just talking to him in a party chat too, him and Colt, and we're laughing, and they said, you got a show to do. So I had to run and come to the show. And I found you sitting here all alone waiting, going, wait a minute, am I being bit clouded?
That term. Yeah, we're using that now. Bit cloud. We're using that now.
If you're late, you're bit clouding. Anyway, shout out to all my channel members. You'll see their names scroll across the bottom as we go along during the show. I really appreciate you guys very, very much. You got some in the house right now like Neil B, Hustle and Motivate, Ancient Gamer, some great people here. My man Philly Eagle is here in the house. Good people. Anyways, so moving on, we, you know what? That's enough about you. We're going to get into this trivia thing because this is one thing that my guests usually love. I don't know how you're going to take this, but you're going to have to answer the 5 questions. Are you ready?
I think so.
You ready?
I hope so.
Okay. Well, we'll see how you do. 5 questions. All right. That's silly
man.
80s music, game show type music anyway.
I love it. I love it.
I love it too.
So
That's
much.
why we got to do it. And this is 5 questions, 4 questions being trivia and 1 being very subjective. All right. Are you ready for the ominous music?
Let me go to Google real quick. No, I'm just
No
kidding.
Google and no phoning a friend in the
kidding.
chat, people. The chat likes to play along, so no looking at the chat.
I'm looking at you right now. So
all right, let's go. What was the first Mario game to hit the Super Nintendo?
Super Mario Brothers? Oh, Super Nintendo, Super Mario World.
There you go.
Sorry,
I gave you a
thinking
chance
NES.
there.
I'm thinking NES. My bad.
All right, now it gets into something very different. Hopefully this is going to benefit you. Name 3 of the 10 starting classes in Dark Souls.
Oh, gosh. The Thief, the Knight, Dark Souls?
Yeah, the original.
Mage? Or they don't call it mage. What do they call it? Freak! I only pick certain classes.
You said the Thief, the Knight.
I'm thinking of the one that uses the mage powers.
There's 10.
I know, but it's killing me to use that one for some reason. Oh my gosh. Thief, Knight. There's no rogue? No rogue. I can't think right now.
I'm going to have to get you on that. You could have said bandit, hunter, sorcerer, or pyromancer.
I was thinking sorcerer. That's what it was.
You could have said, or the wanderer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You got me.
Okay.
I'm always a knight, so that killed me, but go ahead.
Okay. Who is the first boss you face up against in Bloodborne?
There's an optional boss. There's Cleric Beast.
That's the
or
one.
Father G.
That's the one. The Cleric Beast is what we were looking for, so you got it right. Who is the final boss you face in Dark Souls 3?
What is his name? Oh my god.
I made it a point to do Souls trivia. I should have told you to brush up on it.
I'm so bad with names. I could visualize him in my head right now, and his sword and everything. Oh my god. I'm probably not gonna get this. I'm so bad with names. I know him. And
I'll give you a small hint. 3 words. First letter is S in the first word.
Source. I think you're gonna get me on this name. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Soul of Cinder.
Soul of Cinder. Yep,
Soul of Cinder.
Myself. I'm terrible with names.
All right, so we can turn the music off for this one. This is the subjective question.
I'm so mad at myself.
That you can still get wrong because depending on what you answer here, as host, I could say you're wrong. But it's up to you. Favorite gaming experience of all time. It could be an experience in gaming or your favorite game.
I'm still mad about the last question.
I know you're mad.
No. So I could be wrong on this.
You're gonna have to give up your Souls card now. A lot of people in the chat.
Man, Souls Queen, no more.
Yelling fraud. Man.
Fraud.
Where's Luca? Where's Luca when you need her?
Oh gosh, don't call Luca. She'll be very disappointed.
I'm gonna tell her to rewatch
Dark Souls,
this.
You know what's the sad thing is Dark Souls 3 is my favorite.
So as soon as I say Soul of Cinder, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm like kicking myself. Yeah. Well, anyways, so favorite gaming experience or game, right?
Yeah. Your choice.
Favorite gaming experience of all time. I have a few. One that comes to mind when I was younger, and I think this is what really, influenced my attraction to like challenging situations in games. I played Contra 3 on the hardest mode with a friend.
Wow.
And he was like the younger brother of my best friend. We were young, like kids. And for 2 weeks, he came over every day after school, and we got further and further, until we finally beat it. And we cheered and celebrated like we won the Super Bowl. But I always think of that memory because I was just so happy. And that challenge, and that I think it awakened this like challenge in me that I just wanted to play like difficult games and beat them.
So that's where it started,
so
Contra 3.
Contra 3, Alien Wars, Super Nintendo.
I'm going to accept that. You know why? Because you mentioned Contra.
I love it.
I mean, Contra was like, everything when that came out. The first one, when that dropped, I loved Contra. You still remember that up, down, down, left, right, BA select start? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, we did it the right way, though. We did it the
you didn't use the cheats.
Honest way.
Contra
the honest
3.
way, yes.
That's
I don't even know
awesome.
if we knew about that then, but yeah.
Yeah, I can go on for days for all those older games. Ikari Warriors was another one that I loved. The top down, you just walked up and you could play with a buddy. Man, there were so many good games back then on the NES. So
I loved Nintendo back then. Yeah. Now it's a little rocky, but
Nintendo. That's true. We were just talking about Nintendo. I was on Fun Speculation yesterday, and we were talking about Nintendo and how they're just doing this Switch thing now, this handheld gaming thing. How they went from traditional consoles to the handheld thing, and it sucks because if they were to come out with a powerful traditional console, I would buy it. I would buy it in a heartbeat because I know that they would have. Not only would they have better experiences with their own games, because they can make these games look incredible. Imagine like Breath of the Wild if they had like a Series X powerful console. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
They could do so much more.
I don't know if you remember that tech test they had like in 2011 or something for a Zelda game.
Yeah, I do.
Like, what could be, with the power of the Wii U or whatever at the time.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen, of course, but the game, the way it looked like a upgraded like Ocarina of Time, where it had like these graphics of like next gen, right? And
Ocarina, the best. That's my favorite Zelda of all time, by the way.
Yes, mine too. Yep. Mine too.
N64.
I had dreams of that game before it came out, just based on looking at Nintendo Power, like a couple pictures. I was so excited for Ocarina of Time. But yeah, just that feeling of like going into those dungeons and having it look dark and like gritty and like, you know what I mean? And when I played Shadow of the Colossus remake, that's all I could think was like, well, I wish Zelda looked like this,
Exactly.
So I've been like thirsty for that kind of experience. Breath of the Wild's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool, but I still long for that like updated next gen.
And not only that, they'd also get more multiplats as well. And, it'd just be a much better, reason to go out and buy Nintendo if they had a traditional box.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still wish. I hope for that one day. Hopefully Nintendo.
How it is. What you want, they don't give.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of strange, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's talk about Forza Horizon 5. Have you indulged in this game at all? Will you indulge in this game at all? I don't know if you're a racing fan.
Well, I'm planning to play it. I played Forza Horizon 4 and 3. Okay. I enjoy them. I'm actually not much of a racing girl anymore. I used to be when I was younger, but now I really don't have an interest. But Horizon is the exception. I do like Forza Horizon a lot. Yeah, I do.
It seems that's where, when it comes to the casual racers out there, they do sort of migrate to Forza Horizon because it's an open world game. Essentially, you go where you want, play with your friends and just have a blast seeing all the sights. And of course, this being the best looking racer game out. Apparently, it looks gorgeous. I haven't seen it yet. I'll see it on the 9th when it drops in game. It'll be there in Game Pass for me. I don't know. Do you have Game Pass?
I do. Ultimate.
Yeah. Yes. How do you like Game Pass?
I like it. There were times where I felt like I didn't need it because I would finish a game and then nothing would be out. But now I feel like I can't lose it because there's so much coming out right now. They're kind of killing it right now.
Yeah. And then the next year we're going to have some games dropping too. And it's like, that's the thing with these services. They're banking on it just like any other kind of service where you buy into a service like Netflix or something, and then you just keep it. You just, even if you're not using it, it's just like, it just rolls over every month. You're just paying for it. And then when something does come out, you're like, oh, you binge watch something. It's the same thing with these games. This is what they're doing, and it works.
Yeah. It definitely does.
Game Pass has saved me a lot of money too, because my son plays games in there all the time. Like, he goes hard on so many indie games and stuff that's in Game Pass. And so it saved me a lot of money. So lately he's been into Destiny though.
Oh, he's a Destiny
Yeah,
player.
now he's been into Destiny. I'm like, you're getting into Destiny when Destiny sucks now.
Oh, so
Don't hate me. I'm going to get hate for that. No, for me, it sucks. Okay.
Oh.
You hear what they're doing to Destiny. They're taking out content. They're ripping away content that you paid for. They're taking
I have
it
not
away.
heard about that. Yeah,
They're
I
taking
don't
away like a
follow
bunch
it.
of DLC and stuff that we paid for in favor of coming out with some new stuff. But like with every other like MMO style game, they usually leave all the old content in so people can experience it. And you can
That's
experience it
wild.
over and over. So it's just weird. But anyway, Forza Horizon 5, it's getting a lot of stellar reviews. There's a bunch of 10s it's been given 9s out of 10s, 5s out of 5s, 4s out of 5s. Like it's really stellar. A lot of talk is going around saying, because it's getting such stellar reviews, do you think that we should start thinking that Game of the Year can be a racer?
I keep seeing this around like on Twitter and stuff, people debating if it could be Game of the Year or not, or if it deserves to be. And I think why not? I mean, the thing with Horizon that you mentioned too, and that I like, is that it is an open world. It's just different of an experience. At least for me, it gets me playing, and then I keep playing. Because usually if I play like a racer, I might race a couple races and then put it down and I'm kind of done. But Horizon does something different, or at least for me, gets me to keep playing. And that speaks for something. And I just feel like if it's a game, yeah, it could be considered for Game of the Year. I don't see why
not either.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, but do I think it will be? No.
No.
And that's only because they usually have specific genres. You notice that with the video game awards. They'll have best racer or best, whatever, they have different categories. It's a bit unfair though, that they do separate these games like this, because you would think that if a game is fun, because games are all about fun. That's for me, fun factor is the most important thing. And I saw this space going around on Twitter, those Twitter spaces. Some of them can get kind of weird, but I saw one where a bunch of people were laughing because they were saying Xbox dudes are really all concerned with just the fun aspect. And I'm like, yeah, it's a game.
What else would it be?
Look, I love graphics just as much as the next man. I love, mechanics and innovation and stuff. But yeah, as long as the game is really fun, that's really all that matters to me. I mean, my game of the year right now is Death's Door.
Oh, that's a good one.
And
great game.
Yeah, you played it. And it's one of those games that it's an indie game. It's not a strong looker, I would say. It's got its own appeal, its own charm, but it doesn't hold up against, say games like even Guardians of the Galaxy, which looks good at 1080p in performance mode anyway. It looks really good. But it's a great game. So I don't see why these games can't go up against bigger titles or different genres.
I think with some gamers, it's just in their mind, when they think Game of the Year, they're thinking that big budget, banger, God of War-esque type that's got to be like the top, you know what I mean? They're not thinking about indie games. They're not thinking that they even have a chance. And so a racer probably in their mind, which I guess we could make an argument for. Yeah, it's just racing. It's open world. It doesn't really have a story per se. It doesn't really have, it's not probably life-changing. But if it's fun, if it's graphically nice, if it's pushing the boundary, or you know what I mean? As far as
if we go back to 2016, I believe, or 2015, whenever it was, Overwatch won one year. And that's just a multiplayer focused game. And it's not really a genre that it didn't really have a narrative or a really deep story at all. And it won. And it beat Uncharted 4 that year. And remember, everybody who had Uncharted 4 they had it in the bag. We knew that was going to win, and it lost. Yeah. 2016.
There's been some weird winners and nominees, because remember PUBG was nominated, I think, the following year. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. So. It didn't win, but the fact that it was nominated, it did have people in an uproar. And even with Overwatch, people were complaining. I remember that, because you did have the Uncharted 4s, you did have Dark Souls 3, which was that year as well. There was a few games. A few big games that you would think would be.
You must have been mad.
I wasn't mad. I just remember thinking Overwatch. Like I liked Overwatch at the time. I remember playing it at launch. Yeah,
I played a lot
I
on
was feeling
PSN.
it.
I was big time into Overwatch. Me and my buddies used to play that all the time. Like super deep into Overwatch.
Yeah.
Who was your main? Who was your main?
Oh, dude. Oh, it was that. Who was it? I liked the guy with the 2 shotties. What was his name?
Oh, the guy with the.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Like I said, I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, me too. But I remember the character that I used, and she was very cheap. May. She used she used to freeze people.
Yeah. People used to say I looked like her.
Kinda, yeah, you kinda do. Yeah.
I swear, it's like every character, every person that's wearing glasses, Erica, that's you. That's you, Erica. I'm like, I've even been told, I'll never forget this. There was this blonde girl. I don't even know who it was. And she had glasses on. Erica, look, it's you. I'm like, she's blonde. Like, how?
Just because she's got glasses, yeah.
Constantly, yeah. If you have glasses, I'm you, apparently.
Yeah,
but
you're everybody.
Yeah, they did say that about me. Like if I was thick, that would be me.
Oh, wow.
So it was just like funny stuff like that. But I used to use her too. And I forget the other ones though.
She was so cheap though. Honestly, you could even snipe with her. She was so good.
Yeah. Right? Oh, I like the sniper too. She was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Ramon Terrell says, damn it, I'm late. Much love to you both. Awesome show. Thank you, Ramon. That's one of my good friends, man. He's an amazing guy. Awesome dude.
Awesome.
What's up, Eternal Umbra? I see you in the chat. Risk it for the biscuits in the chat. Man, lots of great people there.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, there's some great people in this community. You know what? There's a lot of weirdos out there too. But my chat, they're not those people.
Yeah,
they're
hopefully
not. Do you get any weirdos in your chat?
It's rare, but it does happen. I've had some weirdos behind the scenes in my comment sections and stuff like that. I don't give them too much attention, but it's definitely happened. Being a woman, I do sometimes get the weird comments and stuff. Yeah.
But getting back to Game of the Year though. So Forza, again, we haven't played it yet. We will play it. We both said. Can't wait to do so. But Game of the Year. Name me 3 of your games that you think should be nominated.
Oh, should be nominated?
Nominated, yeah.
I want Returnal nominated. I know some people don't think it will be. I think it will be. I think it needs to be.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
And I'm not a roguelike fan at all. I didn't play it, so I don't have anything to say about it, but I don't like roguelikes, so...
I was in the same boat. I was really skeptical about Returnal. Like, am I going to like this thing? And I ended up loving it. I think coming off the hype of Hades from last year, right? And this roguelike kind of fixation and like hype, I feel like it's up enough to where Returnal got a lot of eyes on it and we liked it and it's talked about. So I do believe it could be nominated. So I want that one. I do love Death's Door. I think that could be the indie that gets in. There's always that indie that kind of sneaks in there. And then the other third one, I want to say Demon Souls because it didn't make the cut last year. But there's always that conversation of like, oh, it's a remake. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And
no. Remakes, no.
So you agree that it should not?
Yeah, it should not. I believe that because they didn't really change enough, I don't think. Graphically, of course, they did. But I think everything else remained the same. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It did for the most part. There's like a couple of things they tweaked to make it like quality of life stuff to make it a little better. But it's the same game for the most part. But if not that, then I'm going to say Metroid Dread. Metroid needs to be in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Metroid Dread.
Yeah, I beat it a couple weeks ago. It's a great game.
That good, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think it's better, Metroid Dread or Death's Door?
Oh, shoot. They're very different.
I know, but they're still a game. They're still fun.
It's so weird because I'm a streamer, right? And like I have these experiences where I stream certain games and I feel like it gives me a bias at times, like because I'll have these moments of like live moments.
True.
Where the chat goes crazy or I go crazy and it makes me love the games more. So in that way, I feel like Death's Door kind of stands out a bit more because I played a lot of it on stream. I know that's not a good way of like judging them, but I can't help it. Like even with Returnal, I feel like it puts this kind of bias because I had awesome moments on stream, like fighting those bosses and getting through those areas. And
Ooh, it had some of its some challenging
awesome.
moments in that game too. That game
Awesome
could be very
game.
challenging.
Yeah,
I know some
it's
people who
so
quit on
fun.
Death's Door because they couldn't beat certain bosses, and I'm like, really?
Oh, Death's Door? Really?
Yeah, Death's Door. Yeah.
Oh,
Some
I thought you
people
meant
quit,
Returnal. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm
It's
like,
it ain't for everyone, man. You know,
it
there's always
reminded
that.
me. It took me back to like the NES days and like Zelda, kind
Yeah.
of Zelda-esque, and it was just really good. Even the little story it had, it wasn't huge, but it was still impactful.
Mhm.
Especially at the end when you beat it, it still had some impact there where I was like, wow, complete game. Just everything from fun factor to cool little story to, the gameplay mechanics. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
No,
game I had like that
loved it too.
was Psychonauts 2.
I'm probably gonna make you a little mad right now.
No,
I've been
no,
trying. I've been
won't be
trying
mad.
to play it. Right, I'm like
Loved it.
halfway. I'm playing it off stream, just kind of on my own.
Really?
But I noticed this is how I know sometimes I'm not super interested in a game. If I'm playing it and then I start checking Twitter or I start checking my
Yeah.
phone or something like that. And I've been doing that a lot with Psychonauts. And it's like, I like it, but then there's times where I'm like, I just want to get this over with kind of thing. And it's weird. It's like I'm back and forth. There's parts I really like, and then there's parts where I'm like, I really couldn't care less. It's just kind of a weird game. I don't know what it is.
The first one was too, and I guess you gotta kind of. It's very polarizing to some people. It really is. Like I see some people saying they either hate it or love it, and I'm just like, I loved it. Like I loved the first one too, though, and it was a game. I think I have more of an emotional connection to the game, the series, because me and my oldest daughter, we kind of bonded over that game. It was one of our favorite games back in the day. It's still her favorite game.
That's awesome.
So we played that years ago. The first one, and then this one came out and I played it. She's still yet to play it. She's got her own thing going on. She's got work and all this stuff, but she's got her PS4 and she wants to play it. So like,
that's cool.
Definitely she will. But I loved it. I thought it has a great message. Like I really like the writing in the game a lot, and I like the mechanics, and I like how it changes up so much as you play and get deeper in the game. I'm sure you've seen moments where the gameplay elements just changed up completely. Like at one point you're doing side scrolling, and I just love that. I like the different looks.
It's one of those games where it's like once I get to the level I'm supposed to be at, or the world or the area, it's like then I start playing and doing the platforming. It's like I'm having a great time. It's awesome. But I think it's just the little in between parts where it's like, oh, I need to find this thing, then talk to this person, and then you know what I mean, like the little side stuff that you kind of have to do. That's where I kind of tune out, and I'm like, I kind of want to just get back in there.
You have to pay attention as well. Like I've seen people try to play the game in a party chat. And I'm like, what are you doing playing in a party chat? Because there's certain times where they're talking to you and telling you what to do. And I know I was in a party chat with somebody and they're like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. I'm like aimless, and they're telling me where they're at. And I'm like, they tell you what to do if you're listening, but you're in a party chat.
Yeah.
So, it's a game like that too. You have to pay attention.
That's funny that you say that, because there were times I was playing it and listening to a podcast. So I would end up at an area. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yep.
I'd be looking at the map, like, because it would tell you go here. And I'm like, where is that? You have to find it on the map. And it's just like, so I've had those moments. You're totally right. Yeah. I need to pay more attention.
It's just, it's weird though, that we're even discussing the possibility of a couple of Xbox games being even nominated this year.
Yeah.
Xbox has come a long way. They are being way more transparent than they used to be. I think that they are in the right direction with Game Pass, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I really feel that it's really opening the company up, and it's really making Xbox, putting them back on the map. And I think that it's going to do well for them, really well.
Yeah,
I think when we finally hear the numbers of Game Pass, it's going to be big. I mean, do you think Xbox is definitely, you see some change there, or how do you feel?
I do. I feel like the mind share that gamers have, like me included, because when the Xbox One launched, I was kind of going through it with the Xbox. I'm like, what is happening? What is this console? I was one of those where I was big on the 360, and then I went to Xbox One, and I was just like, what happened? And then I kind of played more PS4, and then it naturally just, so to see it now where it's like, oh, Xbox is doing good things, and I want to play these games, and and I'm always going to be on Gears. I was playing Cuphead when it came out, and it was just on the console.
Excellent game. Excellent.
Love that game. Yeah. I've been on the Xbox. It's not like I deserted it, but I like to see the competition. I want them to do good, because then obviously PlayStation can't get content, and then it's better for us. I mean, that's just the natural progression of things.
And they're not getting content. And let's get into that a bit. PlayStation, have you seen the new GeForce leaks that have come out saying that, PC ports? And on this list, which was quite a big list, but on the list was games like Ratchet and Clank coming to PC next year. And 6 months after release, supposedly Horizon Forbidden West. That is the big one there.
I saw that with the dates. Yeah, the placeholders. I guess from what I understood, the placeholders, it can't go beyond that. That's kind of the latest it would come out. Am I correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's what's supposedly being said. That's the rumor on all this stuff.
Yeah. So I saw Returnal there for like April. I'm like, that's a good date. And then like you said, the Horizon day. I'm like, that's believable. The first one's on PC. So I would assume that second one's coming out. And it's funny because I'm a Bloodborne fan, right?
Yep.
Bloodborne is not on that list. And that is why people believe it's true, because Bloodborne has not come to PC. And it's not coming. At least it's not looking like it's coming. Not yet.
It will. And so what are your thoughts on this whole thing about Sony games going to PC? Even look, I've said, because a lot of people talk about day and date, and I don't think they're going to do day and date just yet, or who knows if ever. I'm not going to rule that out, though, because never say never. But I do think I can clearly see staggering these releases by 6 months. Because if you think about it, the peak sales would have already hit for the PlayStation 5. So why not 6 months later, drop it on PC and get even more sales? It makes a lot of business sense, and it's got a lot of people up in arms. What do you think about that strategy if they were to do that?
I've always pretty much said that, just it makes sense from a business perspective. I mean, I'm not working for Sony. I don't run my own business or anything like that. But logically, common sense wise, it's like, okay, release it first on the PS5 or whatever, and then wait some time, and then you can double dip and get into this other ecosystem with PC guys who are not going to buy your console anyways. Let's be real. There's a lot of PC dudes. They ain't buying no consoles. So why not? I mean, it doesn't hurt us. If you want to play it on lunch, play it on lunch. I will. I don't wait.
Exactly.
So I've always been of the mindset of like, it makes total sense. And I totally could see this happening. Like, I've always believed that. I mean, we've seen it with Xbox, and then now here we are with PlayStation. So
yeah, I just think it's just sort of an evolution of the industry. I think the consoles are just going to do this because, Xbox has already done it. Sony's going to follow suit because there's money to be had there. Why wouldn't they? Like, it makes no sense to me, especially with a staggered release date. You can, just quell all the hate if you say, all right, PS5 guys, or Sony guys, you get your game day and date. PC guys got to wait 6 months. A lot of these PC guys or PlayStation guys say, I'll just go PC at that point. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Not.
They said that when Horizon Zero Dawn went to the PC and they said, I'm going to PC. These same guys that said that are still on their PlayStations.
Of course.
Yeah, that's not happening. If you're a console person, you're going to be a console person. I don't know. What do you like better? PC? Consoles?
I'm a console, I guess, peasant at heart.
I'm a peasant.
I like consoles. I've grew up on them. The reason I think what influenced me most to get into PC gaming was just being a content creator, because like I said earlier, I worked for that website. We would get codes for like indie games and things like that, and it was only for PC. So I kind of started dabbling with PC a little bit, and then the other half of it was like, well, I want to stream. I want to do all this stuff. So let me upgrade my PC. And naturally, I just started kind of dabbling more and more and then playing games on PC. So I do like PC a lot. I think I'm at the point where it's like I don't even know if I have a preference. It's like I go so back and forth on it. Like I'm on console, then I'm on PC. On console, on PC. And it's just I love them both.
Yeah. So
Really.
will you
You know?
continue to just buy the consoles as they drop?
Yeah, I would say so, the foreseeable future. I mean, unless it gets to the point where, yeah, everything's day and date and maybe not, then I would just keep on my PC. But see, I feel like I'm different. Like I'm not the average console gamer that doesn't make content, doesn't need a PC for anything else. So I feel like for me, it was easier to make that transition.
Yeah.
Plus I have all my PC friends in my ear, Erica, get a PC, and I used to get teased a lot for like playing on console. Like, you're not at 60 frames yet. I'm like, I didn't know any better. But once you see it, it is true. It does change you because you see these games like Gears, for example, Gears 5. When I played it on PC for the first time on my G-Sync monitor, it was kind of a wrap. Like I didn't want to go back to console. So it just, I guess in that way, yeah, I do prefer PC. And if I could get these games day and date, I would be on the PC. So that's probably my answer. But I still like consoles though.
Yeah, but now we're seeing pretty much every game come out with 60 frames modes.
True.
So like it's getting closer. That gap to where it's like, okay, at least with frame rates is really small. The gap is small. Like we're seeing more and more games coming out with performance modes. Sometimes not as well optimized as we'd like, but when they are optimized, they're pretty damn good. Like Gears 5 on the Series X is amazing.
I've heard. Yeah. I have the S, so I haven't played on the X.
Yes. Yeah. The Series X is phenomenal. PC. Really great. I love it. I play most of my multiplats and stuff on the Series X, so I'm on there more often, and I just play the exclusives on the PS5. But the PS5, again, like I haven't played it in a while because I bought Kena. Or Kena, however you say it.
Kena, yeah.
And I feel like I took a $40 L, and no hate to anybody that likes it, but I just can't get with the mechanics.
$40 L.
I'm not a big fan of the mechanics in the game.
I gotta say,
it's pretty, it's good looking, but it's just mechanically, I just can't get with the game.
Not to cut you off, sorry, but I it's so funny because I got Kena. And I dropped it. I actually dropped the game, and I keep telling myself to go back to it, but you're not wrong about the mechanics and the combat. There's something about it that just did not click with me.
It's called old. The mechanics are just old.
It is kind of an older game. It's actually been praised for that, though, ironically. Like, this feels like a game from like the GameCube era, or like, you know what I mean, PS2 or something, but it remade.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, I could see that, it was kind of charming at first. Like, oh yeah, I could see that. Like, it's like playing I don't know, some random platformer like back then or something, and it's remade. I'm like, that's cool. But then over time, I'm playing it and I'm like, something's not clicking.
Yeah, I'm glad I found somebody else out there like this, because most people I do talk to, even my friends, like they liked it. I think Colt was another one who may have dropped it as well. I'm not sure, or didn't even buy it, but I'm not sure. But I know you have tried it and dropped it as well as I did, and you're the first person I know that did that as well. And it's just, I can't really get into it. But I don't hate it. It's not like I'm hating it because it's a PlayStation game, PlayStation gamers. It's nothing to do with that. I just expected more from it, I guess. It looks really nice. It's even the hub worlds for me that's kind of like filler. Like there's nothing there. Like I'm just exploring nothing. I don't know. I just don't like it.
It's something about it. Yeah, I do plan to go back to it. I want to finish it. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, your backlog again. There's your backlog.
Yeah, it just keeps growing. Yep. But it is. I'm more than halfway. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty deep into it, so it's probably not going to take too long to finish. But I am a bit disappointed because I was really looking forward to that game. Like, really. And so to not love it more, I'm disappointed. in that. So
Risk It for the Biscuit says, what do you think about the early access release of Forza 5? Here, it's almost as much as purchasing the full game. It's underhanded, I think, at $65. What do you think about that? Some people have problems with paying an extra $45 in Game Pass to get it early. However, a lot of other people would argue that they're not paying to get it early. They're paying for the DLC and the extra car packs, which you're getting a deal on. How do you feel about that?
So you do get DLC with it.
And car packs at a discount.
I mean, I don't really see an issue with that. It reminds me of Gears 5 and 4. You got to pay to play it earlier. I don't remember if we got any like skins or anything like that.
No, I think there you just paid to play it earlier. That was more underhanded, I would think, if you want to call it that. Just
Right. If anything, that would be the more underhanded. I don't remember even caring though. I was like, I want to play early, so screw it. But I could see how people would not like that. You are paying to play it early, so you have this advantage. And if you don't really have the money to do that, you're kind of left to see everyone enjoying it, and then you just have to wait, and then things could get spoiled. I know Horizon's not really a game to spoil, but let's say it was. Let's say it did have a story. And then you got everyone talking about it, and it's easily spoiled. So I could see how it would bother people. It's kind of dirty. Like, it feels dirty, but if you really want to play the game, it's kind of up to you, I guess. Yeah.
Risk It. Yeah. I wouldn't call it underhanded in this case, because you are getting DLC, you are getting car packs, and you're getting them at a discount. It's just like a bonus, I guess, to get to play early. But
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
And maybe
it didn't have that. Yeah.
I mean, some people are kind of, you could argue that some people are duped into buying, and not duped, but they want to play it so bad early that they do buy it just for that. I could see that, but that's on them. That's their prerogative. I guess this is the same, argument for DLC as well.
If you think of it in the way of like from the business side, they're over there like, let's make some more money. Exactly. Let's just give them the chance to play it early when they would pay the same amount. Well, not the same amount, but they would still buy it anyways. We're just going to take a little bit more because it's FOMO, right? They fear of missing out. They want to play it early, and they're going to capitalize on that. So it's kind of dirty when you look at it that way. But as the gamer, it's like, well, you get what you pay for. You're getting extra stuff. You play it early. But it is kind of, I guess, dirty in that way of like, well, they could have just released it that day.
Yeah, because it may happen for Halo Infinite. And for Halo Infinite, people are going to jump on it because of FOMO. They don't want the story ruined for them as well.
Exactly.
Like, I know I wouldn't want the story ruined. So,
exactly.
It's one of those things.
That's where it'll catch you, because you don't want to have it spoiled. So,
Erica, before the show ends today, we're going to get into Elden Ring. Your favorite topic here. We're going to get into Elden Ring, and let me pull up a video here. All right. So we see on the screen the gameplay for Elden Ring. This is going to get Erica excited enough to talk about this game at length, I'm sure. But so we saw the gameplay. The gameplay overview happened, 3 days ago? And so speaking from a layman, somebody that really has never played a Souls game, the only game I have ever played from Software is Sekiro, which I quit on because it just beat the hell out of me. It's just too hard. But Bloodborne I did beat. I loved Bloodborne. I actually played it and loved it. But it was a different setting and everything. I just thought it was cooler than the Souls games for me. Sekiro, I thought the same thing. I'm into Tenchu and stuff from back in the day, and I thought, oh, this is great. But then, it just kicked my ass, and I was just like, no, thank you. After, there was a boss that I was trying to beat, and I think I counted 38 times trying to beat this boss.
Do you remember the name?
Before I forgot, but before I broke my controller, I just put it down. I was so mad.
You have some restraint there. That's good. At least you didn't toss it or anything like that.
Yeah, but so Elden Ring comes out, and it's an open world Souls game where you can play with others, apparently, to help you out. But tell me, what is it that you really love about this game? Like, what is it about Elden Ring?
What is it about Elden Ring? I'm looking at it right now. You talked about how you liked Sekiro more and stuff because it was like a different setting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed that's very common with some people that they don't like the medieval kind of like look, like it gets tiresome, I guess, to them, or they'd rather something different. Me, I love it. I love the fantasy aspect of it. I love that George R. R. Martin is behind this as far as like lending his hand to the story and the world building. I loved Game of Thrones until the final season.
Oh
So
yeah. By the
you know what I
way,
mean?
I do have to say this. I actually read the books, and the books
Hmm.
are way better than the series. And I did love the series until the final season. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
final. Yeah, we don't
because
talk about that season.
he didn't finish the book. The book actually, he didn't
Right.
finish it. So
Right. I listen to the audiobooks at work. So I read it through my ears, but yeah,
oh
they
yeah,
are really
yeah,
good. They're really good. Yeah. But anyways, I guess knowing he's helping with this game makes me more intrigued because these NPCs and the lore when it comes to like Souls games and Bloodborne, they there's so much world building. I know I'm using that word a lot because George R. R. Martin's kind of influencing it. But I'm curious to just see what is different about this game. It
yeah.
is kind of like an open world Souls. That's what everyone's calling it. But that's what we want. If you're a Souls head, you're a Souls player, like this looks amazing because we're thinking of the possibilities of like where we can explore, how we can tackle these dungeons or these areas any which way we want. It's being compared to Breath of the Wild in that way of like you can go where you want. I mean, look at this. I'm looking at it right now. Like it's beautiful, beautiful worlds.
But it
And
still looks the same, right? Still Souls.
that's yeah, it is. And I wanted to mention this too today is that there's things like how do I put this? There are things that are being recycled in terms of like sound effects and like they're taking things from each game and kind of bringing it together, what they've learned and what they've kind of mastered from the other games. So like Sekiro, the sneaking around and the stealth elements that is in this game. The sound effects of like the backstab, if you know what that is from like Dark Souls, when you backstab an enemy, it makes this noise. And they're using that in this game too. And I hear it all over. I hear the sound effects. I'm even seeing the magic being used that was actually magic that bosses used in Dark Souls 3. And then I hear the lightning come down, and that's from Sekiro. So there's like sound effects and there's stuff that's being used from the other games, but they're like creating something different with it. So somebody looking at this skeptical and not interested, they might look at it like, oh, that's just recycled. They're being lazy. They're using the same stuff and whatever. But
I wouldn't say they're lazy, only because, again, this is an open world game, and there's nothing lazy about an open world game, and unless that they make an open world game and there's no life in it. But this doesn't look to be the case here. Looks to be a lot going on.
There is a lot. You got the horseback riding now. You got, I feel like there's such a focus on the magic that's being used, and I like that. I feel like for me, because I'm not typically one that uses magic, I'm usually the knight with sword and shield, and I'm in there going through the games. But this makes me want to use the magic more. It's showing me different ways of playing the game. There's different classes. And these classes I'm probably going to forget because I don't know how to answer it in a damn trivia game. But
yeah,
but
well, I'll invite you back when the game's out and we can do the trivia all over again with this game.
Right.
Maybe have a you know what? Maybe have an Elden Ring special with you and Luca.
Yes,
after you beat the game. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Right. And speaking of Luca, there's the co-op aspect of it, which has been in the other games. But this one's going to be more interesting and like different because it's open world and we can actually stay together even if we beat bosses together. Because before,
that's right,
you would beat a boss and then you'd have to say goodbye to
even in Bloodborne. It was the same way.
Yeah,
and you'd ring the bell and
right. And it was kind of convoluted to even get together. Remember, you had to do like passwords and you had to do all this network stuff. And this, they're saying, is going to be way more fluid, way more easier in that way. And it just seems like at the heart of this game, it is what they've learned from Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and they're putting the best stuff forward to make this beautiful game. Like that's how I see it. It's
Okay.
a combination of things, you know?
So let me tell you how I see it as a non-Souls fan. When I
Yeah.
look at it, I see there's another Souls game. I see no real innovation outside of they added jump. You know, like that's kind of what I see in Souls games. Like like the lack of innovation. A lot of people would even compare it to, say, Far Cry games. And I'm wondering, like, you know, because Far Cry games, a lot of people say there's no innovation there. They're all the same. It's kind of the way I see Souls. So what like sets it apart from each other? Like each Souls game to you, like what is it there? Is there any innovation here, Erica? That's what I want to know.
Definitely. Okay, so the open world, I think I'm trying to think of the best way to put it, because Far Cry, that's very disrespectful.
No.
Here's how I see it with like Ubisoft games, right? Yeah, this goes across many of them. You got Assassin's Creed, you got Far Cry, where it's like this big ass map and they just litter things all over the map, and you just got to go here, go here, go here, clear this, clear that, get an achievement doing this, whatever. Souls is not gonna, Elden Ring is not gonna be like that. It's a map and you can set markers, but there isn't stuff littered on the map. Like, okay, complete this and then level up like this and complete this mission and then do this in certain ways.
So do you think as we're watching this here and you see like a big monster or something, you don't think this is going to be a spot that is tagged on the map? This is something that will just be totally organic. You just come into it and see it and fight it.
They're describing it that way. Like the dragon, they described it that way. Like the dragon was actually attacking that base and not you. Yeah, it happens when you enter the base, I guess, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be on the map. The way they're describing it is like you're going to be walking around and then these situations kind of happen. So it's
I like that better. I like that.
Yeah, it's more in the lane of like a Breath of the Wild, where you're going to explore and you're going to co-op and you're going to find these dragons, you're going to find these catacombs in different places and kind of go about it the way you want to for the most part. And there's going to be multiple different endings. So yeah, on the surface, you're seeing, oh, this is just open world Dark Souls. Like there's nothing going on. But it's kind of taking parts from all their different games, like a Sekiro, you know, with the stealth, bringing that in and using that to your advantage, approaching situations differently. So like to compare it to like a Dark Souls, you enter a room, right? And you have specific enemies with specific patterns, and they're always there. They're always the same thing every time you enter that room. And you can only go through that room for the most part with Souls. This is like you can bypass that if you don't want to fight them. You can go to somewhere else. And it's going to be so open. You have your horse for battle now. You have these spirits that you can use, which are kind of like risk and reward type of things where...
Yeah, let me pause you real quick. You say, you know, when you come across certain creatures and stuff, you have the option whether you fight them or not. Because I did see in this gameplay, it looked to be that way where like they saw something, but they walked right by it and it didn't attack them.
Yeah, which is pretty neat. Yeah, because with many of the Souls games, like I said, like let's just say this is a dungeon in Dark Souls right now, right? Or a place in Dark Souls. It's kind of linear for the most part in Souls games. It's
all right, wait a minute. What was up with that? He just hit the wall and there was no breakage. It just disappeared.
That's a thing that's been in Souls games before. Yeah.
Where's the innovation there? I want to see like the walls crumble.
Oh, you're trying to see the details.
I want to see some real detail there. That looked kind of cheap, Erica. That looked kind of cheap.
That's a very Souls-like thing.
So we forgive that. As a Souls fan, it's forgiven. We just know that happens.
You know what it is? It's like, I don't even think about things like that because it's just so charming to us because we've seen it in the other games. The boss wall, right? The fog wall. You see that thing, you're like, there's a boss in there. Yes, like it's boss time. And how we go through the wall, it's like we're not thinking about that. We're going in. It's boss time. So it's just like the little charming.
So things disappearing is just charming to a Souls fan. I get it. You know what that's called? That's called defending lack of innovation. There. That's what it's called, Erica. We can call it out here. But But I get you. You love the game. It's much bigger. You got the one-eyed witch here, or whatever she is here.
The one-eyed witch.
I don't know what she is, but she looks creepy.
She's probably where you're gonna. She's probably where you're gonna level up. There's always a woman that's like part of the game, and she's there at the home base, if you want to call it that, where you kind of go level up and regroup, and then you talk to her. She kind of lets you in on what's going on. But it's always like a very beautiful woman, you know. Yeah. With
one eye. Yeah.
One eye.
She's lacking one eye, but she's still pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, it looks like, you know, open world Souls. And that's a good thing, I think, for you Souls fans. You're going to have a blast in this, because for me, I just see a bunch of stuff that's going to kick my ass all over the map. That's all I see when I'm looking at this. Like, yep, that thing's going to kick my ass. Yep, that thing's going to kick my ass. Yep, one-eyed girl's going to kick my ass. That's what I think. Everything I see here. She probably will. She'll turn into some beast or something. It always happens in a Souls game. You know,
you can't trust people, like the person they're showing right now. You can't trust that guy. But no, I think the same thing. I look at some of these bosses. I'm like, I'm going to die a lot to that guy, but I want to. You know, it's kind of let me put it like this for you, Fonz, because you're old school. We were talking about Zelda a little bit. Think of it in the way of like the charming things about Zelda. How you open a chest, the noise that, you know, happens, and then he puts, you know, brings the sword up here, and the way he approaches, you know, when Link goes into a boss fight, like when there's specific things that happened back then and they bring him back, but like in a refreshing kind of new way. That's how I kind of look at these games. It's like, oh, that reminds me of Sekiro, but they're doing it this way. Like it's a little bit like there's a twist kind of thing, you know? So it's like, it's familiar, but refreshing too.
Yeah. I respect all you Souls fans out there, and I respect the fact that you love these games and that you guys do beat these games, and more power to you. Like, honestly, like I haven't played the Souls games. I played Bloodborne, beat it. But like I said, Sekiro whooped my ass. I'm not, you know, going back to it. So I kind of sworn off From Software games because of Sekiro. So thank you, Sekiro and From Software. But if I were to play a Souls game, this would be the game I'd play, because my thing is third-person open world games. Love them. So that's why I play games like Far Cry. And I know, there's lack of innovation there as well.
You being a hypocrite right now, Fonz.
I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm just being a hater a little bit, just because these games kick my ass.
It's all good. I really hope you play it, though. I hope you play it. And let me just say real quick, like Sekiro kicked my ass too. So you know, they are difficult, but they're rewarding. So if you can ever get past those situations, and if not, you could co-op with me. I'll help you. You know, we could co-op. Could play. Yeah,
or you could play like Luca did with Rand and just sit in the back and watch him kill a million, you know, HP boss. Watch him die over and over. I don't know. But we'll definitely look into this a little bit more before I ever commit to buying another From Software game. Because like I said, Sekiro, man. And it had so much potential, because I like that setting. I really like the setting.
I'm curious, which boss was it that did you win? Was it Genichiro?
I forgot. Do you remember? It was only like the fourth boss, I think, or the fifth boss.
Was it in the tower? Like you climbed up the tower and it was a guy in the tower?
I think it was. Was it like, I think it was the one where it was all opened up at the top?
Yeah.
Where you could see outside. Yeah. That was the one.
Yeah. I knew it was him, because he is the make or break. If you can get past him, it's like you've learned Sekiro. Because that's what happened to me. I was playing it like a Souls game the whole time until him, because he does not allow it. You have to play it like Sekiro. So that's the guy. That's the
38 times. 38 times.
Hey, man. I probably took just as much. I don't even remember, but it was, when you do it though, it's like, yes.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of the show. It goes by that fast on this show. Really does. Like that's one thing about the show that I do love. It's the fact that it goes by so fast. Okay, it's a love-hate thing, because I do love the show, and I love all the people that come out to watch it, and of course my guests that come on. It's always awesome. It's really good to have you here today, Erica. Let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
I had a lot of fun. The time flew. I'm so used to doing shows that are like, you know, sometimes 2 hours, an hour and a half or something. So yeah, I definitely had a good time. My name, it's on the screen, Ericutz4thewin. I go by that name everywhere. So Twitch, Twitter, like Fonz said earlier, we were talking about my podcast that I co-host with Shar. Our podcast, The Backlog, is every other Saturday. We had one last night. So in 2 weeks, we have another one. And Fonz, we definitely have to have you on at some point.
I'll definitely come on.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a great time. This was awesome.
Thank you. I had a
Very
great time
awesome.
as well.
Yeah, and I just want to thank the chat and thank everybody for watching and hit the like button.
Yeah, definitely hit the like button. It helps out immensely. And I want to thank all of the people that were here today in the channel. And of course, the people that listen afterward on all the podcast apps out there. Thank you very much for listening. And of course, these special people down at the bottom scrolling right now, my channel supporters, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys. I don't ask people to join, but when they do, it's very appreciative. It's appreciated. And anyway, I want to give a shout out to Ramon Terrell because, again, I'm reading his book, this one right here. It's the book 2 in his Saga of Ruination series, Emergence. It's so good. If you like high fantasy, check out his books. Really great stuff. He doesn't pay me to say anything like that or anything. He's just a good friend that writes really well. And I like believe like anything. So, okay, I'm going to tell a little story here. Somebody sent me out something the other day and it was a proposition to make some money, to show off a product on my channel. And I flat out told them no, in a polite way, because I never used his product. And because I can't use the product or I haven't used the product, I'm not going to say anything about it and try to push people to buy it because that's just not the way I roll. But if I like something, I'm definitely going to push it, whether I get paid or not. I don't care because if I believe in something, I think if anybody believes in something as much as I believe in Ramon and his writing and stuff, I definitely implore you guys to push products and other people out there as well because, people can use it, There's a lot of people out there that are struggling at what they do. Not saying Ramon is struggling at all, but there are people out there that could use a pat on the back.
Yeah. Can I add to that? Yeah. Like if you really like someone's content, support them. It means a lot. If you just like their videos or share with a friend, hey, I watched this person on YouTube, check them out. Or the littlest things go such a long way. So yeah, definitely support guys like Fonz and Ramon doing these books and people out there doing their thing. And if you like their content, support it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And by the way, that company that hit me up, they respected me so much that they said they're going to send me out a product to try and when they can, because that was the issue. They can't do it right now, but when they can, they will. And when they do, and if I like it, then I'll help them out. But until then, that's just the way I am. Anyways, guys, thank you for showing up today. I appreciate you all. Until next time, game on.